Let's talk about what it even means to be left and right. And this is funny. There's a meme. It said, or it's a Twitter post that went viral. People screenshot it. If you are on the left, and they describe you as a lefty, and you deviate on leftist economic policy, they don't care. That's fine. Okay, whatever. If you deviate in terms of woke ideology, now you're a right winger. It's funny though, because thinking about that, if you're on the right and you lie, you're a liar. Or I should say this. If you lie online, conservatives will call you a liar. If you are on the internet and you are conservative, they will call you a conservative. If you are on the internet and you're a leftist, they will call you a leftist. If you deviate from those opinions, they'll say, hey, your opinion changed. On the left, they'll just say you're right wing, you're right wing, you're right wing, unless you agree with us on the tribal ideological issue. But if you could claim to be pro BLM, you could claim to be in support of trans kids and all that stuff, but question universal health care, and they have no problem with that.
So I interviewed, I don't know if you know, but a big watershed moment at my show was I interviewed a Boogaloo Boy. And now people don't know anything about the Boogaloo Boy. Either did I. That's why I interviewed him. And what I found out, it was exactly what you just said. So this Boogaloo Boy comes on my show and he tells people that the Boogaloo Boys were invented as a response to the Proud Boys. They're not proud. So people would conflate Boogaloo Boys and Proud Boys.
Because the media lies.
And that's right. And so the Boogaloo Boys were actually people who were seeking common ground. They were pro-Black Lives Matter. They were anti-war. They were anti-cop.
They shake hands with Antifa. In a bunch of videos.
And they
march together.
They marched with that. So that's the video I saw of this guy, Magnus, and he had a Black Lives Matter person with him. He had a gay person with him. And then it was him. And he's a libertarian. And he said, we seek common ground. We're not your enemy, our enemy. And I was like, let's bring this guy on. I found out he was pro-gay. They provided security for the Black Lives Matter protests. So they're pro-Black Lives Matter, pro-LGBTQ. They're anti-war, anti-cop. What else do you guys? That's 4 or 5 out of the top 10 issues I have. We can agree on. We could work on. They demonize me. Like, you can't do that. That guy's this. He's that. And I'm like, so I had a guy come on after I interviewed him from the World Socialist website, and he's supposed to be a union organizer. His name is Jerry something. And I can't remember his last name, and you never heard of it anyway, because this guy's never accomplished a goddamn thing in his life. And he came on and he started to rip me for interviewing that guy. And I go, Jerry, what's your message to that guy? This guy is being affected by the economic crushing from COVID, just like everybody else. What's your message? Don't you have a message to recruit him? Because if you don't have a message, the Nazis are going to have a message. We got to have a message. And he goes, I don't have a message for that guy. And I'm like, well, that's why nobody ever heard of you. And that's why you've never accomplished anything in your life, because that's not how you organize. You know how you organize? Just like Christian Smalls did at the Amazon warehouse on Staten Island. Now, if you don't know Staten Island, it's all full of Trump voters. And he's a black guy who organized a union of Trump voters on Staten Island. And how do you do that? Well, I'll tell you how you don't do it. You don't go to the union floor and go, who here's a Proud Boy? You're out. Who's a Boogaloo Boy? You're out. Who doesn't like Social Security? You're out. Who's against LGBTQ? You're out. Who's a libertarian gun nut? You're out. Okay, who's left? Now let's organize. That's not how you do it. Everybody knows that's not how you organize. The way when people on the left say we're going to organize along class lines, they don't even realize what they're saying, because what that means is organizing with Trumpers. That's right. They say, we'll never do that. Well, that's what organizing along class lines means, moron. And that's why you haven't accomplished anything in your life except divide the country. Your neighbor's not your enemy. The military-industrial complex is your enemy. Wall Street is your enemy. Big pharma, big insurance, that is your enemy, not your neighbor.